Okay, mic check. Yes, and we are up and running. So this is a private video of the Steg bench test following the repair. So we struggled with this amplifier for quite a few weeks now, and I was having some issues with a distorted sine wave on the top half of the wave when driven under load, and only when driven under load. Replaced a whole bunch of stuff. And one of the last attempts to get this thing fixed was to try changing the drive ICs themselves, which are these two tiny little chips here. They're small 8-leg ICs, and these are they're the drive ICs to some extent. There is a buffer transistor in between the IC and the FET. This was kind of the last try to fix this thing. And we seem to have a success. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do the first initial bench test, just to see what kind of power this thing's actually putting out. And once I've done the bench test, if it survives that, then we'll go ahead and do a full endurance test for 45 minutes on quite a tough load. So without further ado, let's take you to probably this screen, or maybe this screen with the scope. So you guys can see what the wave looks like. There's some noise going on with my scope setup, so the wave might look a little bit noisy, but it's actually very clean in real life. So let's go ahead and power the supplies up. Let's get the amp turned on. There we are. And so let's start by slowly ramping up the gain to see the sine wave appear on the screen here. We're getting higher and higher now. Amplifier is doing some pretty big power, as you can see by the voltage drop there. It is drawing some current from the supplies. Let's keep going up. And time to turn the divide up a little bit so we can see the wave clearer. There we go, there's our clip point. That was 11.72 by the looks of things on the 11.6. So we're going to go with 11.6 because that looks like where it was dropping to. So yeah, we have quite a big sine wave there by the looks of things. So let's turn the amplifier off now. And this is into a 1 ohm load as well. So that was 40.97 volts RMS at clip point. So if we take our calculator here, we can work out what that would be. Let's go to firstly figure out how many watts that did with 11.6 volts worth of input, and then we'll correct it for 14 volts. So so we have 40.97 with 1 ohm. So that was 1,678 watts RMS at 1 ohm with 11.6 volts, which is pretty good. So now what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and correct that for 14.4 volts using resistive square law, which is very accurate. So 14.4 divided by 11.6, square the result, and times that by the power that we read, 1678. So yeah, pretty much bang on rated power. This amplifier just made, when that will actually, is that going to correct itself for the light? 2,586 watts RMS at 1 ohm, 14.4 volts, with, I have to say, a pretty respectable looking sine wave. That's not much clip at all. You could push that even further into clip and get even more power out of it if you wanted to. But yeah, very respectable, tiny little bit of flattening there to the bottom of the wave, but very usable, very clean sounding. This would be through a woofer. You could push that into further clip to get even more power from that. So yeah, that has fixed the issue that we were having with this amplifier. So what I'll do now is I'll run a 45-minute endurance test, running some pretty hard test tones and loads and things like that. Provided it passes that, then this is good to go. Back to Giant, and yeah, on to potentially a new customer. So yeah, cheers.